Hi, I've just done my TBR for July and I've come across the mid-year book freakout tag, which sounds really cool and actually a good thing to be doing halfway through the year. So I'm a few days late doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. I originally saw this on Goldilox Reads and Cherrie Walker. Go check out their channels down below, I'll leave you links. And this was originally done by Read Like Wildfire and Earl Grey Books. I'll leave you links to their original video as well down below. So it's 15 questions and it's all based on everything you've read for the first half of the year. So no cheating, no getting books out from last year. This is this year's books. So question 1 is the best book you've read so far this year. Hands down, it's got to be Strange the Dreamer. I knew nothing about this book when it came through my fairy loot box. I really enjoyed it. I loved the fairy tale aspect to it. I loved the magicalness almost to it. It really felt like I was reading a proper fairy tale without actually being a traditional fairy tale, if you sort of understand what I'm on about. But I really, really enjoyed this book and I can't wait for the sequel to come out. Question 2 is the best sequel you have read so far this year. I'm going to pick Babylon's Ashes by James S.A. Corey. This is book 6 in the Expanse series. I can't tell you too much without spoilers and ruining the rest of the story for you, but effectively things are going from bad to worse in the universe following events in previous books. But I really, really enjoy this series. They're a really good read. It's a good look at humanity and who we are as people and what makes us human, and the good and bad things that we do. My other favourite sequel this month would have to be Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series and I so enjoyed this book. Third question is new release you have but you haven't read yet and you really want to. That's going to have to be Diana Gabaldon's 7 Stones to Stand or Fall, which is her collection of short stories based in the Outlander world. I have started it, so technically I've cheated a little bit, but yeah, I really, really want to read these. And then Roar by Cora Carmack. This is the Fairy Loot June book. I'm quite keen to see what's in store for me in this book because Fairy Loot haven't failed me so far. They've given me a good book every month, so I'm keen to see that one. Question 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I defy anybody to have one book on this list. I've got 3. End of August, we have Leigh Bardugo's Wonder Woman Warbringer, which is a YA book set just before the events of the film. I absolutely adore the film, so I can't wait to read this, and Leigh Bardugo is such a good writer. Then there's the new Expanse book coming out December, I'm hoping. This is Persepolis Rising, again by James S.A. Corey. This is book 7 in the series. I can't get enough of the Expanse series. I think it's brilliant. It's great sci-fi. And then there's Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This is coming out September, I think. It's set around about the same time as the events of Empire of Storms, which I've not read yet, so I'm not in a particular hurry to pick this up, but I'm quite keen on this one coming out. Question 5 is my biggest disappointment this year. I hate to say it, but Passenger and Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. I had heard so many good things about these books. I thought, yes, that sounds like something I want to read. They were beautiful books to look at and I was really, really hoping for something quite special. I read Passenger and found a couple of huge bugbearers for me in it, which are on my review. You can go find that. And I was really hoping Wayfarer would really pick up and be good, and it didn't. It wasn't the sequel I was expecting. I love the concept of the world in these books. I loved a lot of the supporting characters. I didn't think much of our main characters, to be frank. And I thought there could have been so much more out of this world, out of this concept, and I thought it was kind of wasted in these books. If there's going to be a collection of short stories based in this world, I will probably pick that up because I really, really like the concept, but these were such a letdown compared to what I was kind of hoping from it. So question 6 is your biggest surprise this year. I've picked Given to the Sea by Mindy McGuinness. This was yet another Fairy Loot book. I knew nothing about it. The general consensus from the Fairy Loot gang was they weren't sure about this book. But I read it and I loved it. It's such a good story. It's a balanced view of who's bad and who's good, and I just really like the way it told the story from all perspectives. There was nobody right or wrong in this story, and I really like that. Question 7 is favourite new author, either a debut or to you. So that I'd have to pick 2 this year. Julia May, I read The Many Coloured Land, which is part 1 of the Saga of the Exiles series. I read this as part of the Sci-Fi Summer Readathon Challenge at the beginning of June. I loved this book. I couldn't get enough of it, and I have book 2 waiting for me this month. Then there was this duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I lapped this up. I loved this so much. I haven't read the Grisha trilogy. I have no burning desire to read the Grisha trilogy because I fell in love with these books and these characters so much, and it's part of the reason why I'm so excited for the Wonder Woman book coming out in August, because it's her writing and I really clicked with the way she wrote and the way she presents her characters. So Kaz from Six of Crows, he was really endearing, even though he's got quite some major flaws and some issues that he has to deal with and that no one's going to fix. But I really thought he was a great character, and certainly somebody I'd like to go down to the pub with and have a drink and chill out with, because he was just so well written. I really enjoyed him, and he came across with quite a lot of empathy and honesty, despite the fact actually he's a criminal. Number 9 is my newest favourite fictional character. So I've picked Hamish Macbeth. This is just some of the books in the series, but I really liked Hamish. He's a decent copper, he's a decent guy, trying to get his head around life and just trying to make life a lot better for everyone in his village. I really liked him, and it kind of helps that I've discovered that some of these books have been loosely dramatised in the 90s of all things, and they star Robert Carlyle as Hamish Macbeth, and he's good, so I'm quite happy with that. Question 10 is a book that made you cry. I've picked Heir of Fire because I really did have to have quite a few moments after that, because it just hit me on quite a few levels. I'm also going to have to pick Crooked Kingdom as well because, yeah, spoilers, I don't want to explain, but yeah, this left me needing a tissue. Question 11 is a book that made you happy. For this, I've picked A Highland Christmas by MC Beaton. I didn't read this at Christmas, I read this at the beginning of the year, but it's such a feel-good, it's a short little book, everything works out well, and it's just generally a good pick-me-up book. Question 12 is best book to film adaptation. If I'm going to go with film, I'm going to have to say it's Wonder Woman or Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that technically they're comic books, but I count them as books, so tough. Wonder Woman just encapsulated everything that character means to me, and I thought they did a cracking job with it. Yes, they made changes. Yes, they tweaked some of her origin stories, but haven't the comics done that already? I just really enjoyed it on so many levels, not just as a superhero film, but as a film in general. I thought it was a fantastic adaptation. If I was going to go TV series, Jesse the Reader pointed this out in his video, a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, which was done for Netflix. I have only read the first book of the series, but I have to say, if a show ever encapsulated what a book series was supposed to feel like, that show did it hands down brilliantly. If you like quirky black humour, you're gonna love that show. Go and watch it. Question 13 is the most beautiful book you have brought or been given. I have picked Strange the Dreamer by Lani Taylor. This is the UK edition, and I just think we got the better cover here. I love the blue to the gold imprinting. I love the detail on the back here. I don't know if you can see, but there's a moth there. We've got blue page edging, which is just gorgeous when you look on the shelf. You open the dust jacket. On the spine, you've got the contrast with the gold again, so they kept the theme. This book has just been thought through so beautifully. And then, I mean, mine was a fairy loot, so mine was signed. But, if I hold that there for you. There you go. It's all been illustrated as well in the front. This is just such a beautiful book. Question 14 is a personal one, and that's really hard to answer, but the best blog you've done, if you do a blog, or a vlog, that you do on your channel. So I've picked my bookcase videos because this kind of is my pride and joy, and I really enjoyed showing you guys filling it up, showing you guys the bookcase tour. This is such a big part of our lives, even though it's only a couple of months old, and it's just beautiful and I'm so proud of it. And so I'm going to go and pick those videos. And question 15 is books you have to read by the end of the year. I've got a few. So I need to read Raw by Cora Carmack because that's the latest Fairy Loot book, and I need to keep on top of them. Obviously, I want to read the rest of Julia May's Saga of the Exiles, so I've got the Golden Talk here ready and waiting for me. I really want to read them. Then there's Neil Gaiman's American Gods. I want to read this before Series 2 comes out next year, so I need to get this done by the end of the year. Then I've got Jodie Taylor's The Chronicles of St. Mary series. I've got the first 3 books in this series, and I think there's 12. I'm fairly certain there's that many. So I really want to read these. I don't want them sitting on my shelf, hanging about, and gathering dust and not getting read. I want to read these. And then obviously stuff by Sarah J Maas. So I have A Court of Wings and Ruin to read. I've been hanging on to this because obviously it's a little while till the next one comes out. I know a lot of people have been going on and on about it, so I'm just waiting for the hype to die down so I can enjoy this in my own time. But I really want to read this, but it's, you know, look how thick these books are. I'm currently working my way through Queen of Shadows at the moment. I want to read the next one, Empire of Storms. Obviously Tower of Dawn's coming out later this year, and I want to be ready for the next book coming out again, hopefully next year, because I'm really enjoying this series and I didn't think I was going to, and I did. And, you know, that's some of my books. I'd also love to reread my Outlander series before the end of the year. Voyager's coming on in September to Amazon, so I'm wondering if I can get this read before the end of August, because, you know, this is one of my favourite books in this series, and they're doing that on the show, and it's like I'd like to read it and just sort of know where I'm going and all those things that I've forgotten about it, but I don't know if I'm going to get time. So yeah, I've got a few books I need to read. Personally, I need to read, never mind anything else. So there we are. So that is the mid-year book freakout tag. That is quite a mouthful. My husband and I thought that was quite an interesting tag to have because it would be different every year based on the books that you've read at the beginning of the year. It might be good to do this at the end of the year and see how things have progressed and what's going to change and what I didn't read, and if I'm still got the same opinions of my favourite books and things like that. I'll have to see. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to do this tag, please let me know down below, and I'll go and watch your videos or read your blogs on them. I'm more than happy to do that. Please follow me on Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter. Goodreads has reviews of all the books that I've read this year. They're all there on my Goodreads, so please go and check out my opinions. You're allowed to disagree with them, just be nice about it. Please follow me on Twitter. Instagram is exclusively only about books. I don't post anything else on Instagram. It's only book related. So if you want a book person to follow on Instagram, you're more than welcome to follow me. Thank you very much for watching. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.